$59.99 to $69.99. Hats are only $29.99.
Hello. Welcome to Real Family Talk. This is your host, Jay Real. You are listening to WOKB 1680, the Urban Empowerment and Inspiration Station. Remember, you can join us online, WOKBradio.com. And as always, you're welcome to give us a call. 407-894-1680 is the number. 407-894-1680 is the number. Remember, you can find us on TuneIn app as well. Yes, Real Family Talk is back in the building. It's been a while. We've been gone for a few weeks now due to some illness in the family, but thank God that is cleared up. They're home, they're resting, they're doing well, and we'll be back rolling again very soon, even though they don't feel like it's going to be real soon. But it will be real soon, but they'll be back rolling again. So I hope everybody's having a great evening out there. We're certainly glad to be back at WOKB. Joining me tonight in the family's here. I got Miss Monica's in the building. How you doing, Miss Monica?
Great, doing great. Happy pre-Valentine's Day to everybody. So I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well, Miss Monica. I'm doing well. We're back.
Yes.
It's Real Family Talk time tonight, guys. Jeremy's in the building. How you doing, Jeremy?
I'm doing good. How y'all doing out there? Now I would like to say that I don't believe in Valentine's Day.
You don't believe in Valentine's Day?
And I don't get in trouble at home because my wife is not a fan of that either.
Yeah,
so.
we talked about that last year.
We did talk about
yes,
that
yes,
last
we did.
year.
Yes.
Jeremy does not do Valentine's Day.
No, me and my wife. So it's not just me. I don't want the ladies out there thinking.
It's just another day.
I don't want the ladies out there
sad.
thinking that, hey, JP, I don't want to buy his wife nothing. No, it ain't like
that would be the.
I am a little cheap.
Assumption.
I won't lie about that. But it's just something me and my wife we just choose not to participate in.
Yeah, I just think it makes it extra special. You should definitely do those same things on a regular basis.
That's what I'm talking about.
But it just, it's just nice.
It's it's always nice to acknowledge people, or especially your wife, as often as possible.
That's right.
That's what they want to do. Get acknowledged as often.
So we don't need the 14th day of the second month.
See, the 14th get added in there, sir. You're supposed to add that into the acknowledgement.
Yes, you do a little above and beyond on that day.
But that's what I'm saying. If you do it all the time, what's the big deal?
You can always go above and beyond your regular things that you do.
Not all the time.
No. Oh, you just banging all the time, huh? You just got these big, great gifts every month. Well, go ahead.
No, I didn't say that.
He didn't say that.
I didn't say that.
He did tell you he was cheap, Miss Monica.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
It's all about the gifts. It's about how I treat you on a regular basis.
That's true, but it's nice to get things. I mean, being treated well is great. Above all things that you definitely would want to be treated well. But it's nice to receive things as well.
It's nice to give.
It's nice to give, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, well, that's just to the ladies out there, because the ladies usually one worried about receiving on Valentine's Day. To the ladies out there, to the women out there, it's a blessing to give.
It is a blessing to give.
So
it's always nice when you get things as well, though. That's always a good thing. It's not necessarily always set up to happen that way, but it's always a nice thing when it does happen.
Right, and reciprocation is a good thing. So you give, I give, we both are happy.
There you go.
See?
There you go. Shout out. Happy Valentine's Day. Early Valentine's Day to everybody. Hope everybody has a great Friday or Saturday or Sunday, whenever it is that you choose to celebrate it. Because Friday is going to be busy, of course. So you might want to just wait to Saturday just so you can actually not have to wait 2 hours
to
eat at your favorite restaurant.
I say wait to Sunday or even Monday.
You may save yourself about $25 to $30 a plate.
The prices will come down. The lines ain't
going to
be
they always run specials too. If you're looking for a deal, there's always a deal to find on right around this time of the year too. Even the nicer restaurants have pretty good deals usually. Nice. But yeah, man, Valentine's Day is coming. That's for sure. I'd be remiss not to acknowledge what happened today in the city. We lost our first police officer of the year today.
Yes.
So we certainly want to see your prayers out to the family of the County Sheriff Officer Pine. and hope they are doing as best as they can under these trying times. Certainly our thoughts and prayers are with them. It's always sad when somebody that, all you did is signed up to serve the people.
Right.
And then it's a shame when one of those people end up taking your life when you're just doing your job, if you will.
Yeah.
Stay out of trouble, people. That's how you do that.
Yeah, but I would say, too often, a lot of times, we especially in the minority community, we have a negative view of the police department or sheriff's department, as you will, because we feel like we're discriminated against, and sometimes it is valid. But, these are times when you remember that they're here to protect us, They really are here to protect us. They're here to serve us. And excuse me, at the end of the day, they lay their life on the line every day. It's one of them things, you don't think about it till somebody's life get lost or till you need them. Then it's, I love the police.
Right.
So we definitely don't want to take them for granted. Shout out to all those police officers and sheriffs out there.
For sure. Yeah, man. Keeping
firemen as well.
Right.
Everybody, man. Keeping it moving a little bit here, though. A lot of things have been happening, man. We've been gone for a couple of weeks now. A lot of things have happened in the last couple of weeks. I'll kind of run it back. Of course, we missed the Super Bowl happen in the last couple of weeks. As usual, as some would say, the Super Bowl was disappointing. It was a big letdown, but it happened.
If you're a Seahawks fan, it was.
Well, exactly. If you were a Seahawks fan, it was not a letdown.
It was great.
They did exactly what you hoped they would do. So the Super Bowl is happening. We got the Olympic going on. You guys watching any of the Olympics?
No.
No, I've seen a lot of commentary about the hotels and living conditions there.
Yeah, that's mostly what I hear
very
about. Yeah,
excited about. But
No. I did watch some figure skating, not by choice, but I did watch some figure skating, and I did. I'll admit, a couple of the young ladies that I did see were not too bad. They had some interesting things happening. I don't know who won because I didn't keep up with it that much, but I know that they had a young lady from Russia. She certainly killed it with her little performance that she did. She had the highest score, at least what I had to see. But other than that, man, I did catch some of the I like the snowboarding when they do the half pipe and stuff like that. To me, that's kind of interesting, man, because them boys they're getting up there pretty high, man.
Yeah.
And then you think they're on snow, so it's slippery as all outdoors out there.
Yeah, no, that's something I could kind of get into.
You can make a bad move, man, and you're over. It's done.
I don't mind watching stuff like the luge and the bobsledding and stuff. That's kind of.
I don't know what that is, bro. What is that, bro? You're gonna have to explain that.
Well, that's like the luge is basically like bobsledding, but with one person. And it's not like a bobsled, but they kind of sit on the sled and they lean back and they kind of going down the same type of track.
Okay.
It's something we would do if we were snow people.
Okay.
As guys, if we was growing up, that would be something we would be into. I bet you I'd beat you down the slide.
Would you? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm adventurous like that. You were too.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I did notice apparently there's a Jamaican bobsled team.
Oh yeah. For sure.
I was just thinking,
Cool Runnings is alive and well.
It's not just a movie.
I haven't heard of that since Cool Runnings.
It is not just a movie. Now, here's the sad part. The only reason why I know that is because they did a story the other day about this app that one of the Olympians were using. This young lady who was an Olympian. She didn't win her particular event or anything, but she got a lot of press because apparently there's an app called Tenderoni. I don't know. Maybe you guys heard of this.
No.
This is my first time when they talked about this story. But it's one of those apps where it's a dating app where it will find people that are local to you. So it GPSes your phone and says, okay, this many people in the area are using the same Tenderoni app. And so then you can connect with those people if you so desire. So apparently this young lady, Mr. King just walked in the building and he has his phone.
He's checking out the app.
Tenderoni will be downloaded in a few minutes. but apparently in interviewing her about that was her comment is, I was hoping I would find one of the Jamaican bobsledders on the Tenderoni app, which is the only reason why I know apparently there is a Jamaican bobsled team.
Oh, wow.
But the Olympics are happening, man. A lot of big trials going on right now. Jordan Davis trials going on.
Yep.
the assailant, Dunn, I can't think of his first name. I know his last name's Dunn, though. He was on the stand today. He said what he had to say. I do, a lot of people saying this is like the Zimmerman trial. In my opinion, it really isn't nothing like the Zimmerman trial, other than the fact actually a young black kid got killed. That's about the only coincidence that I see. That's just my personal opinion. But yeah, I think you're going to see a much different result, though. I do not see him getting off for this. I don't know if he'll get that first-degree murder charge. I tell you, that Corey boy, she just be going for the gusto all the time. But I don't know if she'll get her first degree, but I do think he will actually go to jail this time, unlike Zimmerman. I think his defense is really no defense. Seriously, I mean, he just basically got scared because he saw a bunch of black kids and started shooting. And unfortunately, no place on this earth is that legal. So.
And speaking of George Zimmerman, did you all hear about the celebrity boxing match? I heard very briefly about it, but
I heard the foolishness.
It was insane. I mean, he was supposed to box with DMX, the rapper DMX.
The rapper DMX.
And
the paperwork
DMX
was never signed, technically, they say.
Okay, and basically DMX was ready to slaughter him, apparently, and was making very blatant, attempts and sharing, how he felt about George Zimmerman and, this match. And apparently George Zimmerman was giving back, comments back to him, and they ultimately canceled it, I guess. I'm not
the promoter, the original promoter said I guess they say something about his family was getting death threats and sort of he felt his conscience kicked in after he, got all that negative backlash. And he said, I can't in good conscience put this fight on
that
for
was
money.
A pure publicity stunt, man.
Of course.
But
they're trying to make Zimmerman infamous. He stays in the news. That's all. Long as he's staying in the news, he keep on getting a check. Man, we need to quit entertaining George Zimmerman, man.
Here's the sad part. Is apparently another promoter has stepped in.
Somebody going to go for the gusto.
And this promoter is saying, he wants the money. Because there's going to be some money made.
Right.
And but he wants to make it more of like a MMA fight. More like the UFC or something like that. He's more interested in doing it that way as more of a celebrity boxing match. So who knows? Maybe it'll go down because nothing is signed. This is all really conversation.
They just keeping that man in the
But I think it's silly anybody would entertain the idea of putting on any kind of fight involving George Zimmerman. I'm surprised George Zimmerman. Well, not really. It's kind of seeing his moves, but
agreed to.
But I would never sign up for this. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, you want to get out of the news.
He
you
never
want to disappear.
He never
and
came
so you can live your life, bro.
on TV, on newspaper. He never had any statements about this fight. Pure publicity stunt. He never. The DMX came out and said a lot. He never came out and said nothing. That man is chilling somewhere on the beach and letting his publicist do all this talking just to keep checks coming in, man. Please, people, stop entertaining George Zimmerman. Please.
So you're right. That happened. That happened as well. Big news of the day that came out over the weekend. Two things that really popped on my radar. One, Eric Holder did a speech where he basically said that from moving forward, or at least in the recent future, gay marriage is going to, from a criminal and civil, state, federal point of view, in terms of the law, is going to be recognized universally across the country. So it doesn't matter if you got married in California but you live in Florida, if you let's say y'all divorce or y'all have a bankruptcy, that bankruptcy can now be filed together. You don't have to file separate bankruptcies or one person doesn't have to file. It would be a unified bankruptcy, just like a regular, normal married couple, which is big news. The Obama administration, once again, letting us know that they do support the idea of gay marriage, regardless of whether or not what y'all got to say about it. That's huge, in my opinion. Big news, man. I'm just surprised that they keep doing all this stuff from the office of the president, like it ain't nothing. Like most of the country still is against this idea. I just find that interesting. As they say, it's the last year, right? So you just do whatever you feel like doing.
Evidently.
regardless of what people think, because what they gonna do, what they gonna do. So that was big news, and then of course you had the NFL draft prospect come out as well this weekend, acknowledge that he was actually gay, and he's the first openly, he will be, assuming he gets drafted, which the expectation is that he will be the first gay NFL player. So that was the other big story. They've been talking about that one for the last 2 days, more so
2 days.
More so than even the story about gay marriage.
I told you.
Not surprisingly enough.
When the dude in basketball came out and just for some odd reason decided to let everybody know that he was gay, I knew football and then baseball, and then I was watching 42, and in 42, it was all white players. And the manager was like, this is just the first. Don't worry about this first one. You need to be keeping your job because there's gonna be plenty more to come after this first one. And that's how it was. And with the what they called again? What's the initials?
The LGBT.
Yeah, the LGBTs coming out in professional sports. Jason Collins was just the first. Now it's in football. Now it makes them feel like, well, we can all just come out and I don't have a problem with it. My only problem is, why is this a big story?
Because he's the first.
That's my only problem.
Because he's the first, and then he's going, and he's the first in what is considered the most male-dominated homophobic sport in America. And it's the biggest sport in America. That's why it's a big story.
I don't know if it's the most masculine, because I think it's the gayest sport, to be honest with you, because everything about football is homosexual, from where the quarterback put his hands to spanking them on the butt to say good play. They take showers together. Everything about it is homosexual.
But they knock each other down. That's not very.
I do that with my girl too. Like, what you mean? I knock her down, and that's how it started. But anyway,
What in the world?
You gonna say something, Jeremy?
No, I would just.
You have nothing to say after that foolishness.
No, it is. I would say it's just more of a big deal because he came out before he was even drafted, and like they said, it was strategic in a sense because the combine coming up. For those of you who don't know, they all basically interview with every GM that want to interview him, every head coach that want to interview him, and they go in there and they grill them, like they interrogate them like they committed a crime. They want to know everything about you. So somebody was going to ask.
Right.
Because
it wasn't a secret.
Yeah, what they say it was already going to come out.
It
was, like I said, he had already came out to his teammates.
Right.
And they just hadn't.
Since last year.
Yeah, they hadn't said anything, is actually, I was actually say that's some loyalty right there. That's what a team's supposed to do.
Because I read an article I was reading today. He even had a boyfriend when he was at school in Missouri on the swim team. So I mean, he was no secret.
Right.
There was no hiding what he was. So it was only a matter of time before it came out. And so you're right, it was a strategic move because he wanted to out himself before the media said, "Oh my gosh, can you believe?" Crazy. And that's exactly what the media would have did. Yeah. Oh, can you believe this guy's gay and he didn't tell us? So he jumped the gun and said, "All right, they're gonna out me anyway, so let me go ahead and put it out there and whatever happens, happens."
And I would say it is going to be interesting. I was listening to some sports radio today, and they was just saying just hope that the LGBT community doesn't jump on everybody because somebody doesn't want to draft him, because there are some teams out there were saying that there's a chance that he wouldn't get drafted because when you look at it, he's actually for his position he's undersized for being a pro prospect, and with him standing up on his feet playing linebacker in NFL, when they had him doing it at the Senior Bowl, they said he wasn't doing too well. And then some say his stats are overinflated. They say he had 11.5 sacks, but he got 9 of them against Florida, Arkansas State, and Vanderbilt. If you follow the college football, there's not the greatest lines in the world. So it's like one of them things, like just hoping that, okay, if something happens, he don't get drafted, or he gets drafted real low. People ain't, he didn't get drafted because he was gay.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
I think he'll get drafted, but will he play or be a somebody in the NFL? Doubt that.
But see, it depends on how much he go work.
Exactly.
The
That depends on how much he works.
the point is that he's going to get drafted, and he was the first to open the door for the other players who feel like they don't want to come out the closet. That's the whole purpose of him. He is the first to come out. And if
He'll come out while playing.
While, you know what I'm saying? Like beforehand, so they'll know what's up. But I think he'll get drafted. He'll just be a nobody in the NBA because, like you said, he doesn't have the size. But
I would say he got a high motor. So a high motor gets you on the field.
Yeah.
As far as playing special teams, he might be a backup linebacker.
so did Tim Tebow.
No, it's a difference.
It's a difference.
It's a difference.
Different position.
He a hitter, you know.
Tebow had a motive.
It's a different
He
position
had a motor.
because
I said a motor.
Oh,
because
sorry.
teams need hitters. You know what I'm saying? And lines need to be deep. And so if he can muster up any sense that he can at least get on that line and compete on a regular basis, he more than likely will make a team even if he doesn't start.
Yeah,
you know?
he'll probably make special teams.
So
He'll get drafted, but
so he's going to get drafted. But if he stays on the team, it's just going to depend on how hard he works. And quite frankly, I think at the end of the day, if he works hard and he proves that he can be an asset to somebody's team, he's going to play in the league. And players are going to end up having to figure out how to deal with it one way or another. Because at the end of the day, you know, I think there is a lot of homophobia in the NFL. I think that's not a surprise to anybody. And I do think there's going to be certainly a lot of resistance initially to him. But at the end of the day, when the camp closes and the team is settled, you know, they want to win a football game. And if that dude goes out there and he proves that he can help them win a football game, they're going to get over what he is, and they're going to celebrate the fact that he's going to help them win football games. You know what I'm saying? And so, but is August going to be rough? Is July going to be rough? Is June going to be rough? Probably. You know, but if he's on that team in September and he proves, you know, throughout them 3 to 4 months that they're in and out of those different camps, that he can be a solid player and contribute to that team, you know, at the end of the day, they're gonna let him. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna be one of the guys, or you know, or at least on the face of it anyway. You know what I mean?
don't. You know, honestly, I don't think. I would say if he makes the team, I don't think it'll be that rough for him. If he actually makes the team, because if he makes the team, he's proved himself. You know, and that's gonna go a long way. And like say, depending on what locker room, what team I should say he gets drafted by. Because he get a team with a strong veteran presence, it's not even gonna be an issue because the veterans gonna have everything sold up, or they're not gonna let it be a distraction.
Right, not once he makes the team.
Yeah, they're not gonna let it be a distraction.
The only thing I want them to do is to stop comparing it to Jackie Robinson, though. That's what I need them to stop. I'm gonna need them to stop comparing it to Jackie Robinson
because stop doing it.
It's not even
close.
It's not even close to being Jackie Robinson. Not even close. I mean, Jackie Robinson. I mean, if you watch the movie 42 that just came out, you know, you need look no further than just the small bit of the window that movie gave you into Jackie Robinson's experience being the first black baseball player to know that his life in 2014. While, yes, he's going to experience some challenges, but he's going to be able to stay in the same hotels with the team. He's not going to have to live in a house, 20 miles away from the hotel that the rest of the team is staying in. He's not going to have need a personal driver and bodyguard to make sure that he's okay, or a friend, if you will, so that he'll have somebody to talk to because nobody else on the team will talk to him. You know, he's not going to walk into every stadium and they're going to be calling him all kinds of foul language. But you know what I'm saying? That's not going to be his experience. So don't compare him. That's the only thing I want them to stop. He's no Jackie Robinson, and his story is nowhere near that particular level. But you know, because in 2014, even though the world knows that there's a lot of people that disagree with that, they're going to, in this PC world that we live in today, those people will be shunned in the media and looked upon as if they haven't grown up, if you will. They're certainly not going to be the standout people that people celebrate. They're going to be the people that people criticize and talk about and say, well, you need to figure it out because this is the world we live in, if you will. So no Jackie Robinson. That's what I need them to stop. So you going to say something, Mr. King?
I just, can't wait for his first game if he makes it. that welcome to the NFL game. That's what I just, he's a rookie, so let the man play if he can make it. But I don't see why your sexual preference either matters or why it's put out. But if it is, keep it to yourself. I don't see why he's making money off of this. It's big publicity. It's get your name out there. Now you're a household name because you're first gay player. You're going down in the history books. I guess that's why they're referring it to it as Jackie Robinson. If he gets drafted, he's going down, and that's why I say he will get drafted. Now, will he play is a different story, but he will get drafted just to have his name in the history books. That's already destined. Sorry. But, it's really nobody's business. That's my whole thing. It's nobody's business who this man dates and all of that stuff. I don't know what that has to do with football, but that's just the nature of the business of the news.
407-894-1680 is the number. 407-894-1680 is the number to the station if you want to comment on any of these topics we brought up. You got any other comments on this one, Jeremy?
No.
No? You done? All right. We're done, man. We'll keep it moving, man. There's a story that was brought to my attention that I wanted to throw out and grab some opinions on. In Alabama, which right there, that tells you a lot. But in Alabama, I went to school in Alabama, up in Huntsville. And this particular story happened in a little town called Sulligent, which I never went to Sulligent when I was in Huntsville, but I've heard about it. And what I heard is it's just a place that I probably don't want to go hang out. That's what I heard. Somewhere I just probably don't want to go hang out. But what had happened was teenagers, okay, white kid, black kid. It's Alabama. There are a lot of people in Alabama, but when you get in these small towns, of course, I'm sure our numbers are smaller compared to everybody else. And so what happened was black kid finds a white girl, likes a white girl. The white kid apparently liked the same white girl. And so as a result, what he started doing was texting the black kid in order to encourage him to stop dating this white girl, which is okay. Sounds pretty mild-mannered in first, but it's the language that he used that really kind of sets you off and kind of perks your ears up a little bit. I'm going to read some of these texts back and forth for you to see so you can understand what I'm talking about. And so the white kid begins with the black kid, or at least this is the excerpt that I'm reading now. Tells him, it says, I'm in the KKK, so you need to get off those white girls. Black kid responds, tells him I don't care, basically. Tells him he'll kill him. Black kid says, well, come try it. He says to him, okay, you need to be afraid of me. Now I'm excluding the expletives that were used in order to say that, but he used some expletives to tell him that you need to be afraid of him. The black kid responds back laughing at it. And then he tells him, he says, I'm nothing but a regnet, so you need to back off me. Again, expletive. Black kid tells him he really doesn't care. And they keep going back and forth. And essentially he's just threatening him, threatening this black kid and telling him he needs to be afraid of him because as being a part of the KKK, he will do what the KKK does, if you will, and kill him. As a result, of course, you can imagine the parents of the young black kid went to the police. And so far, the action has been that they obviously talked to the young man, talked to his parents, of course, because we're talking about minors here, 16, 17-year-olds. And ultimately, what was decided was the mom and dad ended up taking the boy's phone away from him. The police gave him a court date, which he hasn't served yet, but he has a court date coming to address the issues. And essentially, the black kid's family is waiting on this court date to see what's going to happen to this white kid who essentially threatened their son, all because he was dating a white girl. So the family was obviously upset that all he got was his mom and dad took his phone away, and then he's doing his thing as he waits for some court date to see what some judge has to say about the situation.
So in this court date, I mean, what is he being charged something? And then the
I'm
judge
sure
is
the
going
court
to,
date is going to determine all of that.
Okay. And did they share what thing they are trying to charge him for? Is it just
No, I didn't get what they were trying to charge him for. The parents, of course, think he should be charged on a hate crime,
right?
as well as the parents, were really upset at the fact that the young man didn't get arrested for making these threats.
Yeah.
And it, because it is pretty, it's pretty serious what he threatened,
Right.
and it was very direct.
Mm-hmm.
So they were pretty upset at the fact that he didn't get arrested at all, and he's basically living his life, waiting on some court date to figure out, what is or isn't going to happen to him as a result of these text messages.
Right. And technically with plenty of opportunity to do whatever he claimed he was going to do until his court date.
There is opportunity. There is
That's
opportunity.
outrageous.
So I asked the question, 407-894-1680, 407-894-1680. What do you think? Should he be arrested in this particular scenario? Is there enough
Yes.
to take him to jail?
Yes. If you can get arrested for posting pictures of stuff on Facebook, you should definitely get arrested for threatening to kill somebody on Facebook.
Where are the parents? He's underage, and the parents should definitely be taken into fault. Yeah, he needs some kind of discipline, but I think the parents need to have a bigger discipline, because as parents, you need to be watching your kids' Facebook.
I wouldn't say, how was he, 16,
Well, it was
17?
a text.
16, 17,
Okay,
something
he's
like
somewhere
that.
around that
Cell phone
age. To
text.
me,
I thought it was on Facebook.
but
No, these were texts.
okay, well, text, even worse.
Text. How did he get the man's phone number then?
Well, text, Facebook, I mean, doesn't
It really don't matter.
difference?
The point is, he's sitting and threatening to kill somebody. That's a crime. Last time I checked,
Right.
Yeah, that's, that's true.
that's a crime. So he should have been arrested. Period.
Mm-hmm. Even if it was just to be put into juvenile detention, he needed to have an immediate consequence for
Right.
that behavior. Not, oh, we'll take your phone.
Come to
That's
court
just-
a month later, whatever it is.
Whatever they do when he goes to court.
Right, which is going to be, now, Johnny, you shouldn't do that. That's not nice.
It is
Have a
Sullivan,
good
Alabama.
day.
Ain't gonna be a good old Johnny boy.
I mean, we're talking about a population here in the thousands, in the low thousands, like, 1,200, 2,000, somewhere in there, if I remember correctly. I don't have that paper in front of me right now, but yeah, it's a small town we're talking about here. We're not talking about, this isn't Birmingham.
Well, even
This is
then,
Sullivan,
that's still-
Alabama, where the majority of the population, I believe over 80% of the population is white.
Nothing is going to happen to this little boy.
Nothing at all.
That-
He won't even get community service.
No, not at all. He will just have the court date experience, and that is the only thing that he will get if they don't cancel it and put something else in the place of it, because they don't consider this to be significant. So I don't anticipate anything happening at all, which is really, really sad.
Which is sad. But he should be arrested,
He
taken
should
to
be.
jail.
Yeah.
Now, here's just to throw a side point. 407-894-1680 is the number. 407-894-1680 if you want to comment. Now, the actual kid, I was looking. Now, the black kid lives in Sullivan. The actual kid lives in a town that's about 50 miles away. So in order to make this threat, the reason why they even know each other, though, because these towns, like I said, we're talking about a town of 1,500, 2,000 people. So they play the high schools that they're involved in are close to each other, rivals. So they that's how they are even able to interact, if you will. So does that change your thoughts and opinion, though? Kid 50 miles away.
No.
It is a Facebook threat.
No.
Really, I mean, are Facebook? I mean, really, a lot of people do Facebook threats all the time. But do you really take a
All of them need to
Facebook
be-
threat
All of them
seriously?
need to be arrested then.
Yeah.
Especially if they're a kid. Because you got to know, you just can't go around telling people you go kill them. Especially on no public forum. No, that's not, I mean, you know
It's
what I'm
not
saying?
kosher.
It's not
Exactly,
kosher.
it's not.
There's no free speech in that one.
No, ain't no free speech and telling
free
people you go kill them. Put on Facebook right now, I'm going to go kill the president, see what happens.
Right.
That's the president. But you can put on Facebook
I know,
right
the
now,
president,
I'm going to kill
we
Denzel
all-
Washington, and nobody's going to show up
We
at my
all
door.
people. Yeah, that's different. They going to think you just a stalker. Now, if you show up in L.A., then you going to get arrested. But you talk about two kids that know each other within 50 miles of each other, which is easily touchable. you know what I'm saying? You need to be arrested. If nothing else, just to let you know, you just can't go around telling people you go kill them.
Right.
It's too much that been going on with kids, from the Columbine to a lot of the school
Right,
shootings.
you got to take that stuff serious.
You got to start taking it serious,
Right.
like, honestly.
And then the context of which he, even started the conversation with his, relationship with the KKK. Who's to say there isn't, and I'm sure there is, a chapter, I guess that's what they do, in his area that he has access to, that he can just say, it's this boy. I'm sure he knows what he looks like. And,
Yeah, he knows what it looks like. He's the black kid is a football player, so he's known.
So it was possible. So the fact that they wouldn't even acknowledge and, address this boy right away and say, look, this is not appropriate. I don't care if it was just a joke, that they just like, well, give me your phone. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
Ain't no joke.
No,
you
it's
tell
not.
somebody you go kill them.
Right.
That's a problem.
That's
Right.
a problem. So no, we don't need to check the facts. We don't need to dig into the details.
We got the
That
facts.
is a
it's a
fact.
problem.
Told him he was going to kill
It's
them.
written documentation. Everything is written. So just like if we were to go and apply for a job and we mentioned something crazy on Facebook, they would take that as written documentation of our inappropriate behavior. So that's the same thing.
Same thing.
Just like people like Jeremy mentioned are going to jail because they got pictures of guns and money and drugs on the table, and they took a picture and put it on Instagram or wherever. Documentation. Period.
Documentation, huh?
Yeah.
All right. 407-894-1680 is the number. 407-894-1680 is the number. Are you surprised that this still type of behavior goes on in 2014? Because this message took place early January 2014. So they brought in the new year with some foolishness about interracial dating. I almost look at it, and again, I've never been to Sulligent, Alabama. Was in Huntsville for about 3.5 years, though. And I certainly didn't hear any great things about Sulligent, Alabama. None of the people I met in Alabama suggested I pass through the town of Sulligent to have some fun. They, more than anything, they suggested it probably wouldn't be a great idea. But even in 2014, does it surprise you still, to kind of see this type of conversation, this type of feeling, especially amongst the young people? You almost think young people are rising above all of this, racism, and you can't date a white girl, and you shouldn't date this other girl. You get that feeling, especially when you talk to them, that they're rising above this. So does it surprise you that these types of conversations are still happening amongst young people, where we're still questioning whether or not interracial relationships are okay?
Not exactly. Especially in that particular location. I often think that ignorance is generational. So, if his parents still feel that way, they're going to continue to put their beliefs and values and teach that to their children. So unless that child is strong enough to think otherwise, they're going to continue to believe that way. So I think it's incredibly sad that people are still out there. But then again, a couple of months ago in DeLand or somewhere up in northern central Florida, they were recruiting for the KKK openly. So, and that's here. So for it to be in southern Alabama, unfortunately, I guess that's just what they still believe.
Par for the course, huh?
Yeah.
Yes, well, I mean, to some extent, a lot of places just still a way of life.
Mm-hmm.
We think in this technological age that everybody's doing what we're doing or had access to life, or life is changing and moving rapidly like it is here. That's not the case in I would say most of the country. I'm not going to say a lot of places.
Mm-hmm.
If
people
it's a small town, like you said, it's not too many Americans of color. That's just what they was growing up seeing and all that he probably knew. So, in situations like that, he probably just doesn't have the mindset to understand being around black people.
I would disagree, only because with the sports,
he don't be around that. He in a small one-horse town that people suggest.
But he should have television.
If you go to high school,
that don't mean you're around them though.
If you go to high
Not
school,
around.
if you go to high school, in the South, let's say that, and you around football players, it's some black people. You know? So it's like, I mean, to me, that's not an excuse. But as far as that way of life, how the town goes, if the town is still run, or you know, the lifeblood of the town is still being run by the older crowd, which I'm sure it is in most places. You know, that's just still how it is. You know, it's really funny though when you live in cities or metropolitan areas. You know, you assume that most of the country is like that. Which I realize it's only like 2 big cities or maybe 1 big city in every state, maybe a couple other big towns. After that, you basically in country, you know?
You look at Georgia. You know, you really got Atlanta that's really small, but it's the biggest one.
Right.
But then as soon as you step outside of Atlanta.
Outside that, the biggest thing you got is what, Macon?
Macon.
You know?
You're going to get caught in Rome and all them little small places. You like.
And Florida, I mean, it's similar. We just have, you know, between Orlando, Jacksonville, Tampa, and Miami, it's kind of like
and Daytona.
Okay, you know,
we got a lot of them though. We
just have it's the touristy thing that kind of makes ours a little more, I would say, not as bad as other places. But you venture down in county roads a little further than you normally would, and you would think you in a whole nother state.
See, Florida, you can't really be racist in Florida because we got Haitian, Hispanic, black, white. We don't really have too many Indians or nothing like that. But really, we have a mixed culture. So it's kind of difficult to be racist in Florida because you're going to bump into somebody. You don't grew up around somebody that's not the same race. Versus this gentleman, he probably didn't. You know, he's in a town where he doesn't see that many African Americans, and now the one that he probably sees want the girl that he like. That's gonna stir up some emotions in a teenager. You know, who is this black guy that wants my white girl that I want? You know, I don't know how he's thinking. I'm just trying to take up for somebody that y'all ain't taking up.
I still think you should be in jail.
I mean, I'm not denying the fact, but I'm just trying to understand how the idiot thinks. That's all.
Because even if you were an adult, and let's say you had an attraction towards a female, regardless of whether it was an interracial issue or a racial issue, period, if you threatened another person because of your interest in that other person, there would be an immediate consequence.
But that's an adult. Adult knows better.
He's 16, 17. There are children that are 16, 17 being tried as adults.
And that's why I say his parents should definitely take a lot of blame because obviously they ain't raised that man right. So the parents need to take blame and he should be disciplined. Not trying to say nothing is wrong with what he did, but, you know, you just got to try, I guess, to understand you know, what he was thinking at the time of the emotional text messages because women make you do some crazy things. Exactly. Women make you do some crazy things. Now, from a woman's point of view, it's like, well, you know, that's crazy. But from a man, it's kind of like, well, you know, if I like her and he like her.
I'm just going to threaten their life.
I mean, I might beat his tail. He look at me, hold on, bro. I know you, don't get her. Oh, man, I'm going to hate you then if you get her and I don't get her. You know, it ain't got nothing to do with race. It's just kind of like I don't like you because you got the girl that I want. I don't like you because you drive in the car that I like. That's called a hater. And as we get older, we understand how to adapt to them, you know?
Right. Which is the other layer that makes me question, you know, how seriously you take this. Because we're talking about two teenagers. One teenager got the girl. The other teenager is real salty that he didn't, you know. And then, you know, at the end of the day, he really talking about his feelings. You know
Basically,
what I'm saying?
he in his feelings.
He really in his feelings, and he's arguing that. So that's why I asked the question. You know, aren't there some other questions perhaps that we need to look at before we just run him off to jail and say, you know, he's the bad seed? He might be a bad seed. Clearly, he's got some issues. You know, but to say that, you know, that was one of the questions that I had. You know, just based off the idea that he's in his feelings. He's really in his feelings, clearly. And obviously he lives in a town where he's probably heard everything that he said to that young black kid. He's probably heard his mom and daddy talk about the KKK. He might have a granddaddy in the KKK. His daddy, for that matter, might be in the KKK for all we know. You know what I mean? So he's certainly been exposed to that, but that doesn't necessarily translate. That doesn't mean that his daddy didn't lynch some black people. You know, his granddaddy, probably. But that doesn't necessarily mean his daddy has followed in the thing so that, you know, he's going to transition and do the same. You know, that's why I had those questions. I think there's a lot that has to be, you know, discovered. You know what I mean? I wonder what kind of job the police did in sort of investigating this whole matter. Was it just a knock on the door to say, ma'am or sir, you know, your son was out here sending these racist messages to this young man here. You know, you might want to talk to him about that. Was that the conversation? Was it that simple?
I'm sure.
Or was it deeper?
The consequence
in that
was
small
what it
town,
was.
I'm pretty sure they knew the police. It was probably like, you know, Andy and Barney. Like, everybody knew each other. It was just like that. And it was kind of like, hold on, who is, you know, these people that don't supposed to be on this show? Mm-hmm. And I'm sure the police knew each other. And they was like, well, you know, he was threatening the football star over there, you know. It's cool. We grew. The police and his daddy probably grew up together, and then his dad and his daddy, like you say, was probably in the KKK together. So it's a one-horse town, dude. Like, what you expect in that town? It happened in Sanford. Okay, the police were just like, go home. So you know, in that little town, smaller than Sanford, it happened like that. They probably had 8 dinner, man. Come over to the house with me and my wife, and we're gonna talk about some stuff. And that's just probably how it happened. It's a small town.
He
man.
invited his mom and dad over for dinner. Was like, hey.
Yeah.
So you may want to take his phone.
Yeah, that's it. Like, we don't want to arrest him, but
We don't wanna
just
cause
take his
no
phone.
problems.
Right. Because he's a straight C student, so he's trying.
I'm sorry. I don't care if you in your feelings. You need to learn how to control your.
See, as a woman,
You have to learn.
as a man,
You
it's
can't go
not
fighting.
that easy.
You can't go threatening.
But that's
you
what
can't
men
go
do.
But okay.
Men do. In the back in the day, what we do, we would get some wood, and we would carve up a club.
Okay.
And we would hit the girl right upside the head, and we would drag her home. And now you mine. Ain't got to do no feelings or no emotions. But now in 2014,
And that's
you know, it actually evolved. Before then, it was the little letter. Hey, do you like me? Check yes, check no.
Or maybe.
That didn't work. Things have digressed, and women are saying no more often, and guys are becoming more sensitive. That's what the soy milk and the pink playing football does. Nobody want to hear me. Nobody want to hear me.
I was waiting
We're
for
not
the
back to the
pink.
pink
I was
shoes in the
waiting for the
NFL.
pink.
I didn't bring it up about the brother getting drafted, but you know, in October, that brother gonna look like he in the dang on lingerie football team. That's how he gonna. You gonna be like, is this what? Let him come out on draft day. Woo! I'm sorry. Anyway, he should not go to jail. My bad.
He
My bad.
should.
No, he should not. His
Take
parents
him to
should
jail.
be disciplined, but he needs to be taught better. Because obviously he does not know that threatening people, black people, is not what you do as a white man.
I would agree if he was 11 or 9, but he's 16 or 17.
With an
He
11 or
knows
9-year-old
that
mindset.
He knows that this is. I don't care if you were in your field after the fact. You would still notice that was probably not the best way to handle that situation. You wouldn't still stand and be like, "Yeah, I said it. I'm gonna kill you."
I'm a proud white guy. You're not as a black dude, you're going to hang your head low and be like, oh, Lord, my mama. Because you know mama said. But as a white boy, it's kind of like, I'm a white guy. So, yeah, I said it. And, like, really? Come on. No, that's how they think. That's not how they talk. But they be thinking like, yeah, okay. It was just a text message. It wasn't like if I was going to really kill him, I wouldn't even text him. Like, you know, that's how he's probably thinking.
Harassment, I found out, is what he's got to go before the judge for.
Okay.
No, he was doing, because you don't need to be texting people, you know, how you feel.
Part of the KKK.
Because if it was a man and if it was a woman, that he would have texted and been like, oh, whatever, oh, he would have went to jail. But it's a black dude, so it's kind of okay.
It's okay to threaten black dudes in America these days.
You can kill them. You can go to the gas station and shoot them for having loud music. You can see them with a hoodie on and shoot them. You can take them hunting and just shoot them instead of the ducks. It's kind of like, you know, he's a black guy. Who cares? That's how it is in 2014, right?
Oh, gosh.
I mean, they already have a black president. We can kill the rest of them. That's how it is these days, man.
Is that how they think, brother?
It look on the news. Am I wrong? I mean, tell me why I'm wrong at. people will feel like, well, you said it, so you're wrong. But it's like, well, if I turn on the news, they saying it every day.
All right, brother. They saying it every day. Yeah, so we'll see. Harassment definitely doesn't sound like he's going to be going to jail anytime soon for harassment.
That man will not get community service.
Mr. King said they will be slapping him on his wrist.
And it won't be a hard one.
No.
Perhaps literally, and sending him on his way. Which again, I think there's a lot of things that have to go down in order to get this to move that forward. But we'll see what happens. I'm certainly going to keep following this to see where it goes. I'm really interested to see exactly what they decide to do to this young man that threatened him. Like you all said, I don't know if he should go to jail. I'm a little of the opinion that a threat on Facebook, yes, it's serious, but it's a threat on Facebook. You look at the internet these days, people say any and everything you can think of on the internet. People get on the internet and like they call them internet thugs, man. They'll say whatever they need to say on the internet, Then you see them in person and, they either one, they don't go outside anyway because that's all they do is stay on the internet and talk about folks. or two, they're saying they never back up what they're saying. They're just talking, because you get on that keyboard, you can say whatever you want to say. You can sound as big and bad and as bold as you want to be, but you got to show up and do something. It's a whole nother thing. You know what I'm saying? Which is why I always felt like I hear you, but at the same time, he was bold enough and brave enough to say it on the internet.
My thing is this, when them boys had them trench coats on, didn't nobody get no message. Nobody got an email. They just got them trench coats and they came to that school and they started busting. It wasn't we don't even care if we like you or not. We just gonna shoot you. And that's how they really are. If they gonna do something, they just gonna do it. We all terrified of white boys. Who was that? They were like 16 through 25. Well, if you come around me, I'm scared because we don't know what you gonna do. Yes, but if he sent a message and told you he gonna die that one. The one who gonna tell me, like, okay, what you doing in my class with a jacket on? Like, no, I'm scared now. But if you gonna send me the message, like, nah,
you don't go to this school.
Exactly. Now, if he would have popped up at gym, talking about, oh, I'm just here to watch you practice. No, dog. But if you it's just a message. Like I said, the parents are the ones that really need to be the blame and should pay a heavy fine as reparations, I feel. And $10 should go to every black person in his city. And I bet they all learned a lesson that day. $10 should go to every black person in the city. And boom.
$10. I shouldn't ask this, but how'd you come up with $10?
Well, I mean, because I figure that it's only like 7 or 8 of them. I figure it's only 7 or 8 of them now. So that's only like $70, $80.
Oh, no.
Pay your little court fee.
Wow.
Take little Timmy phone and get him a boost or something like that. But,
Wow.
my thing is 5 or 10 years from now after he's graduated, when he's 25, how will this affect him and who will he be in the future? Because
the same one threatening.
Exactly, because situations like this, a slap in the wrist kind of make you feel like you're Superman. Kind of make you feel like you're untouchable. I did this and nothing happened. I kind of met some people. People shook my hand. You're going to meet those, just like George Zimmerman had fans. He had people donating money to him. So I'm pretty sure, I'm not going to say the same thing is going to happen, but in the future, I like to see who this young man will become. Will he marry a black girl? You never know.
Highly doubt that.
You never know. Black girls like white girls.
Anything is possible, Mr. King.
Anything is possible, man. It's a black president.
Anything is possible. Like I said, hopefully he learns. There's a lesson that he learns from all of that.
I doubt that part.
And we'll see what happens. Ultimately.
To be honest with you, he's a C student, a scruffy kid. It seems like he might be the president pretty soon. That's what it seems like. 'Cause the way he's going about things, let him start drinking and get him to look okay, and he might be the president in the future. From his parents' background to him now and how things going on. That's just how America goes.
He might be the president.
He might be your president pretty soon.
Pretty soon.
Because
He at least needs to be 30.
I mean, Zimmerman's a celebrity. So you never know. This man might be your president.
You are A hot mess.
Is Zimmerman not a celebrity all of a sudden?
Apparently, Zimmerman.
This man is a celebrity.
In somebody's mind.
When
he's
they
a
say
celebrity.
the reason I knew he was a celebrity is when they named it the celebrity boxing match. That's why. What? When did this man become a celebrity? Wow. So, that's sad in my opinion when you let George Zimmerman become infamous. I'm sorry. I was gonna rant about that regardless. That really just upset me. Cause I was on Facebook like, why are we even entertaining this? Like, somebody just they assassinated MLK, but they won't assassinate George Zimmerman though. That makes me upset.
My God,
That frustrates me.
Really
They assassinated Kennedy, but they won't assassinate. I'm sorry.
First of all, if George Zimmerman did die, it would not be an assassination.
It probably would be not an abomination either. It'd probably be a infestation. I don't know. One of the Asians.
One of the Asians.
Oh man, Mr. King.
I'm sorry, man. I'm just not a George Zimmerman fan, and
No one should be. Really.
But everybody seems to be caring about this man. Like, we want to know what's going on in his life. And that's why I don't know if this guy will be the next George Zimmerman, because a lot of people look at what George Zimmerman did and now where he's at. Yeah, you killed somebody and now you still in the spotlight, getting interviews, celebrity boxing matches, you getting money donated to you. A lot of people are like, wow, I can do that too. So let me threaten a black kid because he dating a girl that I like, and then let me see where this can go in my life. Because, people are looking for their 15 minutes of fame. Everybody want to be famous, and this they little 15 minutes of fame, so let me milk it. I guarantee the parents start having interviews, and, you get paid for those interviews. The child have interviews. You start seeing him on commercials for, donate blood and stuff. Who knows what's going to happen, man?
As long as he's not doing any Obama healthcare.gov commercials, I'll be all right.
Well, I mean, you never know.
It's a lot of them, man.
As long as he doesn't do that, I'll be a happy camper, man. Yeah, man. So like I said,
I'm Hillary Clinton campaign.
I'm gonna definitely follow what's happening with this particular case. I'm curious to see what happens. I'm gonna stay in contact with the people that told me about it and update you as this moves along. I think it's going to be an interesting event to see what happens here. Yeah, man. So we got a few minutes here before we get out of here. Just a couple minutes left in the show here. Mr. King, you got anything interesting to bring to the table, sir, tonight?
You know me. I was just reading up on some things that passed.
I know you've been posting a lot about Black History, man. You posted anything interesting?
Besides it's Black History Month? No, not really. Not nothing special about Black History Month, except it's only 28 days. Other than that, I'm a dog it. I don't condone it. The shortest month in the year. Can we get 30? No, you can't even get 29.
Every 4 years.
Every 4 years, brother, you're going to get 29 days, Mr.
You don't
King.
even get 29. You only get
29 and 16.
It's 16. See, Mr. King, we'll get 29 and 16.
Oh, okay. I look forward to the 29th. Can we get 30 one day? Can we get 30 days? Can we get 31 days? Maybe that's stretching it out.
That's not
Paul Mooney said they ain't gonna let us have too much. That's what Paul Mooney
They're
said.
not gonna let us have too much. One thing to keep be aware of, man. We are moving into the big time election season this year. They say the highest number of congressmen and congresswomen are leaving their positions in Congress this year. So there's going to be a lot of new openings available for candidates. Stay up on what's happening. We got a lot of crazy things happening in Orange County. If you read on the internet, the Lynhams, as they say, are up to it again. But yeah, man, a lot of things happening, right here locally.
Mm-hmm.
Keep reading. Stay aware of what's happening, who the candidates are. Read what they are about, not what party they represent. Read what they are and what they represent, not just their party. Democrats or Republicans, doesn't matter. Find out what they're about and what they've done in the past, and before you make your decisions just based on a party. Everybody in your party is not in your favor. But we will see you next week. It's been fun. I've had a good time being back this week. Good night. We got Miss McCrae's here. How you doing, Miss McCrae?
It's Tuesday.
Micah King is in the building as well. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing great, indeed.
Excellent.
WOKB, Winter Garden, Orlando.
When I think